7 and welcome back to some more D&D Sims Create a Sim, where I take my D&D characters that I've created, come up with stories and stuff for, and even drawn out, and try to recreate them in these Sims. Now, at the beginning of each video, you should see my drawing sketch of each of the characters. You should be already seeing this lovely characters at this point. I don't leave them up on the whole screen the whole time during the video, just because it takes up quite a bit of the screen to make sure at least that you can potentially see the details. I don't leave it up there the whole time, but it's at least there at the beginning so that you know what I'm sort of rolling with here to create the sim. Today we are creating Kehlani Coralbay in Sims 4. Basically another merfolk, but with a little bit different twist. Instead of being like just your normal typical mermaid, her merfolkness is actually more tied to an octopus. So she does actually have like a walk around form. She gets legs, she can walk around on the on the land and stuff like that. But then she also has a underwater form where she actually has like the octopus tentacles and swims around with them, but she doesn't get a tail. But in Sims 4 world, I had to give her a mermaid tail. I actually had ran across some CC that actually had like more of like octopus legs to replace the mermaid tail with, and I was so excited. I was like super looking forward to using it for this character because I came across of it before I even really started doing the Create a Sim for my D&D characters, but I knew that I was I was like going to be making them, and I was like, this will be perfect for my octopus lady. Like, this will be great. Sadly, it did not work, so I had to still use a mermaid tail for Sims 4. I was really sad that it didn't work, and for some reason I find a version or I get it to work before then, I would change her tail out for the octopus legs. But when it comes to taking the pictures of her and stuff, I did not, obviously, find them before then, and I haven't found a fix for it since I've been doing this voiceover, so as of right now, she's still gonna have the mermaid tail. It's just if she's gonna have the mermaid tail or not when she gets put into the house. But, talking about the D&D house, before I start going into Kehlani's little story too much, I am gonna do a little refresher of what's gonna be happening at the end of this CAS series, because I've never had something that's like, you know, specific, like a CAS series leading up to anything particular. I just do it, and like, you know, once that cast series is over, it's over. But this one is actually leading up to something, as well as like a build series that I've been doing, which I've never really done like a build series other than my haunted builds that I did for October. I'm planning on doing that again. I might start it like a week early, just because I had a lot of fun doing that. I am going to be taking all of my D&D and characters with the help of MC Command Center. I'm going to be taking the help from that and putting all these characters into the same house at the same time. And I am actually building the mansion that they're going to be living in because, like, one, it's ginormous. I wanted to have a build series where I could really focus on the details and also have fun with CC, so that's sort of what that build series is. And then this series is a Create a Sim of my characters leading up to putting them in that build. So both of those hopefully are going to end around the same time. Whichever one ends, one might end a little bit sooner than the other, like the cast or the build, but depending on how it gets spaced out and stuff like that, I'm hoping they end really close together so that everything lines up. But as soon as they're both done, I will have like a little mini series. I don't know how many episodes I will do. I will at least do like 3 to 4 episodes if everyone sort of really likes it and sort of wants to see more of it and would like me see for like me do a whole sim year, because I think I'm going to set it up to where like 1 week is a season. So yeah, if y'all would like and are interested, I could do like a whole sim year and see what happens, like see if romances blossom, romances fall out, or what happens. It's going to be like a reality show / experimenting with The Sims 4, because this is going to just see what in the world Sims 4 can handle on my computer and what Sims 4 it can potentially do with the help of mods, of course, and see what chaos ensues. So yeah, I am going to be, obviously I'm going to have my mods that I always use in it. I also am hoping to have a mod that allows me to give 5 traits to each character, so that in between having the traits, the likes and the dislikes, the aspiration, I'm hoping that, you know, that slowly starts giving these characters super individual personalities. I'm also going to have the chemistry system in, I'm going to have wonderful whims in, I'm going to have, obviously, MCC, then I'm also going to have Slice of Life, so there's going to be a lot of things that is sort of influence them, giving them a few other traits here and there. I'm going to go through beforehand, and if there's any reward traits that I think is like an obvious duh for that character, like Ira, she's supposed to be a Asmar related to winter and snow. So obviously she's gonna do fine in cold weather. So if it's snowing outside, it's not gonna bother at all. So I'm gonna give her that trait where she's basically immune to the cold. And vice versa for anyone who might need the hot or whatever. Those things are going to be taken into account, and I'm going to see what in the world happens. I'm not really going to control them at all, except for in rare circumstances, like if for some reason they're not supposed to be in a certain room and they end up somehow getting in a certain room, or, you know, the one cat that's going to be in the house needs fed, and for someone no one fed it, I'm going to make sure someone feeds it. So it's going to be rare circumstances where I control the Sims, but for the most part, I'm going to let them do whatever they want. But there's going to be like 30-some Sims in this house, so we'll have something to watch at all times. Like, it should not be a dull moment. If there is, Sims game needs more updates than I thought. Now let's get on to Kehlani here, my lovely little sassy octopus lady, as I like to semi-refer to her as. She is actually supposed to be short, but obviously I don't use the height mod. Like, I know there's mods that adjust the height and stuff like that. I can't stand the animations when the height difference gets too big. So if, you know, the Sims game was to ever update it to where they included height, I don't think they're going to at this point, because there would be so many animations that they would have to fix at this point, because they would have to go through and think about every single animation for every single stuff pack, every single game pack, and every single expansion pack, as well as any of the updated stuff, the stuff they've added for free for the base game. So I don't see them ever including heights in Sims 4 at this point, but that is probably the only way that I'm going to use it, because once the heights get to a certain distance, the animations just look too weird to me, and I don't like it. Like, there's some animation issues, like sometimes when people make stuff for kids to be able to use it, it's a very strange glitch, but in some ways that one makes me laugh, versus the height one just irritates me. So, yeah, I don't plan on adding it, but she is supposed to be a very short bean. She's supposed to be like 4'3". She is tiny little short girl. I am also short bean, but I'm not that short. I'm like a foot taller than her, so yeah, she's short bean, but that is part of the reason why I love her. But I also imagine that she does have, like, this attitude about her. She knows what she wants, she does what she wants, and she isn't getting anyone to stop her. And that's sort of, she's actually trying to get away from her home. To her home life was very boring, very meh. Everyone around there was meh. And she wants to have fun, she wants to have a good time, she wants to have fun and enjoy all the things that life can potentially offer her, and not do the same boring thing over and over again. But on top of that, technically she would be multi-classing. She is a sorcerer and a druid. Sorcerer is her first one, and her thing is wild magic. So her village really wouldn't care too much about her wild magic either. That's a little too spontaneous for them. So yeah, she would just be like, nah, peace, bye, I'm out. Y'all have fun in your boring little lives. I'm gonna go make something of my life. Bye. So yeah, she left, and she's doing whatever she pleases. If I was to ever get a chance to play with her, I would have fun with her. Like, it's just so much fun. And if I put her in an NPC setting, if I ever did try to DM, she would hand it back to the players if they ever said anything to her. Like, she would be one of them to, like, don't make fun of her, she'll come back for you. Like, she ain't having it. Unless she also finds it funny, but she still might find it funny, but she's still probably gonna make fun of you as well. Like, yeah, that's funny, that makes sense. Look at me, I'm a little tiny person, but hey, you. Like, she would still come after you with something as well, whether she find it funny or annoying or irritating or angering, whatever it may be. Whatever emotion that you gave her, she doesn't care, she's gonna still give it back to you. Now, when it came to making her as a sim, there was a lot of things that I sort of had to take into thought process, sort of modifying. I did technically, like, you know, her hair definitely has some octopus vibes to it. In some ways it also has, like, I guess what would be considered squid vibes, but I'm still going with her being more of an octopus. But I did actually find a Splatoon hair, and I decided to use it because now that the tail, especially since the tail wasn't working, which still saddens me to this day, I wanted to make sure that there was some tie-in to the fact that she had, like, relations tied back, like, relatives tied back to an octopus. And it actually sort of looked cool. I downloaded it not sure how it was gonna look. I was a little wary. Obviously, it's not necessarily like the actual hair that I drew her for, but it's close enough and it gets the idea across that, you know, hey, octopus. And as far as, like, giving her, what is it, vitiligo? I partially gave that, because one, I don't use that much. Sometimes I forget about that I have it, but also, like, I just really think it's a cool, like, detail, and I know at some point, like, you know, people sometimes probably get made fun of this skin condition, but there is no reason people should get made fun of this skin condition. I think it looks beautiful, and it looks so interesting and stuff like that, so this was, like, a perfect opportunity for me to actually use it, because technically she has, like, these barnacles and stuff on her skin, so this was sort of and then they don't really go off of her, so that was sort of what I used that to represent, is that going on. She also technically doesn't necessarily have a top on. I mean, she's a water creature. They're a little bit different and stuff like that. I do give her, like, scaly top thing in her everyday outfit, and I put, like, a mesh shirt over it. That is just me just trying to, like, get as close to her not really wearing anything, but also still getting her covered for, like, video vibes, basically. Like, can't have things hanging out there. Messy. So yeah, and then also the skirt was just sort of flowy. It had, like, those little ribbings on it, so it sort of fit for the fact that technically her bottom that looks like a skirt is sort of like the little part of her little octopusness thingies, and technically, you know, you could see, like, the tentacles hanging down. She has two long ones that even shows up when she's in walking form, but then once she goes into the ocean, they're all the same length and stuff like that, and her legs disappear and she gets tentacles. I did try to play around with, like, that little, like, horn hat accessory, like, thing that she has that she actually wraps around some of her, like, smaller tentacles on her head, but I didn't have anything that looked right with this hair, for one, and just looked right in general, so, you know, I had to play around with some things there just to see if it would work. It wouldn't work, but overall I am pretty happy with her, considering some of the things that I had to take into account when creating her, but I do love how she turned out. I hope you do as well. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on how she looked. Before I end the video, we are going to talk about her traits for being turned into a sim that will be affecting her potentially once she goes into the house. As far as aspirations, I gave her the curator aspiration. I was trying to, there are a few people who have similar aspirations or the same aspiration, but I was trying to get as many different ones as possible, and I was almost going with a vibe of, like, she might be curious about things once she leaves home, so she might start collecting things here and there, because, you know, it's different for her. Like, she's been in the little boring village all her life, and now she's out exploring, so she wanted to see what that, like, she's like, ooh, these things are cool, they're different, I like these, so she sort of takes them and keeps them, and, like, sort of collects things and things like that. As far as her traits, she will have the jealous, mean, child of the ocean, genius, and dance machine traits, as long as, you know, I get the 5 traits working. Now, the main ones I will be focusing on, just in case that one mod doesn't work, is the genius, child of the ocean, and mean. She does have a bit of an attitude, so that's why I gave her that one, child of the ocean. Pretty obvious to why I gave her that one. And genius, because I do imagine her as a very intellectual person. Like, yeah, she loves fun, but she also can sit down and read a book and solve, like, really complicated problems if she wants to. But, you know, she also still wants to have fun, which is why I also will be giving her the dance machine, as long as the one thing is working. And jealous partially goes back to her attitude. I think I can imagine her being a jealous person. Someone's got something that she sort of wants, but she can't obtain it. You know, she sees a relationship out there, might get a little jealous. And also, technically, I see her as someone bi, so she could be jealous of a lot of people when it comes to the relationship thing. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like Kehlani. And make sure again to hit that lovely like button and do all the lovely YouTube goodiness. You know what I mean. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. But until then, bye bye!